just when I was this goddamn close to giving up hope. I was on the abyss, especially after the week I've had. Especially after pretty much everything that's sort of spun out of what I frankly feel is a little bit of a lackluster Comic Con. And to be honest, I legitimately thought it was going to end this way. Since the past hour, I was simply just going through Toy Shiz's account, Todd McFarlane's personal account, which obviously he wasn't handling because he was talking on stage, so it was probably one of his assistants. Either his assistants or probably even his wife, because I know that he lets his wife handle an awful lot of the socials and stuff. And none of them, both of them were posting stuff, but I gotta be honest, what they were posting, I was like, this is turning out to be a bit of a mediocre event, mediocre panel. Not the worst panel, not a very terrible garbage panel, but just one that, again, would have been fine any other year, but for the last year of the license, I'm like, dude, come on. And then literally when someone took to Reddit, I'll look up their name right now. Someone took to Reddit, dumped an album of screenshots from the panel, most of which I've already seen. And I thought, okay, cool. Quite a few entries coming from the leak list. So I was thinking to myself, all right, that we're checking them off little by little, and most of them are turning out to be either repaints or reissues or what have you. And I'm going through the album and thinking to myself, all right, well, I guess that was it. Call it. Time of Death 2026. And then as I scroll to the comment section, literally the OP is like, oh yeah, this also happened. And it's a shot from the panel of this render, pending licensor approval, as it's pointing out here, of the goddamn Elite Edition Absolute Batman. More or less a much clearer representation of what was already leaked in that original render that did manage to leak. That was blurry. Comes with the buzzsaw, comes with the default head and the masked oxygen breathing mask head. Comes with these two chainsaws that I think can go on his hands. Alternate hands. The axe. Alternating chest plate, which I called and I told myself I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And sure enough, it is. Now, it does look like, judging from these renders, which are initial renders, these are just a 3-dimensional render, not official prototype. It does look like maybe they're going to go for a plastic interpretation of the cape. And I guess at the end of the day, it sort of makes sense. And that's all right. What's not all right, I don't know how this came to be, is that it's going to be a Walmart exclusive. Do you understand how fucked that site is going to be that morning whenever this goes live? And notice it says coming soon. So nothing, I think we're quicker to get the other figures that were shown at this panel first before we ever get some further news or details involving this Absolute Batman. And it's also pretty curious to see that this was the only Absolute figure shown. It was the Elite Edition. What the fate holds for the original trilogy, Trinity, that was shown on that document list, that leak list, who knows? It could still happen, but you also can't rule out the worst case scenario, which is that those figures were canceled and their compromise was to say, okay, we're going to do the Elite Edition Batman because that's guaranteed to sell, but maybe through licensor agreements, or I should say maybe even disagreements, we have to make it a Walmart exclusive for some reason because of pricing, because of what have you. But at the same time, the likelihood of that happening is actually kind of low. I feel like it was simply just they're still probably working some other things out in terms of maybe accessories, in terms of the renders, what have you. And then maybe in a month's time, month and a half-ish or so maybe, um, they will cover and give out some further details on the remainder of the Trinity, which would in fact include a standalone single card release of Absolute Batman that's going to be in the form of a standard version that's like $25 or something like that. But for now, it's good to see that there was some kind of absolute representation in the form of an actual figure and not a resin statue. As was showcased this morning, as well as back on Wednesday during the preview event that was at the Skyline, San Diego Comic-Con Skyline event. So, this was a bit of a breaking news, and to be honest, there's a part of me that kind of wants to take, not a break, but like, while I talk to you guys, pull out my laptop and change the thumbnail to include this so that hopefully, that'll help the stream perform a little bit better as the hour goes by, the hour and a half or so of this stream goes by. So, let me pull up my laptop here while I start to make Photoshop. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. If anything, I just have to turn on my laptop because I have not turned it on today. So, good way to, pretty decent, good way to start off the stream here with what we're going to be talking about this week, which of course is Comic-Con week. So it's a pretty big fucking deal. In terms of pop culture and what have you. How are you guys doing so far? Skelly Bones, Brian's new dishwasher. We have almost 20 people in the watching the stream right now. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing on the Friday of Comic-Con week? I understand that technically we do have a couple of more things unfolding over the weekend, predominantly around Marvel and DC in the movie side of things. Most of the collector stuff I noticed happens in the middle of the week, ending on Friday. Now, while I check on chat, and while, like I said, I kind of changed the thumbnail to show off this picture that was, like I said, breaking news. We're going to rewind the clock a little bit to what started on Wednesday with Comic-Con. Specifically, the McFarlane Toys event that they had in San Diego. So, you guys know that last year, I was invited to the San Diego Comic-Con McFarlane Toys Skyline event, press preview event that was on Wednesday in the afternoon. I mentioned this on the last stream that technically, yes, I actually was invited this year as well. Judging by the lack of posts and the lack of coverage that you guys have seen on the channel, I did not go. And the reason why I didn't go is because, as I mentioned on that last stream, the caveat, is the stream working? Okay, yeah, the stream is working, just making sure. Yeah, I didn't go. Because I told myself that this year we had some different circumstances regarding like travel, regarding gas, money, all that stuff. And I told myself that the only caveat to make this, happen in a pragmatic way was that if on the same day as the McFarlane event, I would also be invited to the InArt event, just like I have been invited the last 2 years. Because in 2024 and then last year, I got invited to an InArt offsite event from the company InArt that started in 1/6 scale action figure development, but then in the last 2 years they've kind of moved on over. They also created a 1/12 scale division, and they've been kind of the talk of the town within 1/12 and within what I like to call prosumer tier of 1/12 scale action figure collecting. Of course, most recently the figure that everyone's talking about from InArt's 1/12 division, which is called InArt Action now, is the Arkham Origins Batman, of which I just posted my review of both the standard and the Battle Damage edition. If you guys want to go and check that out, it's actually on the channel. And that figure has actually been in development since literally 2024 when I got invited to that first event, to that first San Diego offsite Comic-Con event. And got invited that year, 2024, got invited last year. Technically, yes, I actually did get invited to the in-art event, and in case if you guys hear like a giant whirring, like a huge fan turn on right now, it's my laptop. Yes, that is my laptop. My laptop is a very functional and capable piece of shit. I literally have nothing. I haven't even opened anything. I haven't even opened Chrome, and the fans just kick. It's old. It's from 2017 or 2018. It's an Asus ROG. I can't remember what the model number is, but it could literally just be idle, and all of a sudden the fans kick in louder than even my PlayStation 5. I know the PlayStation 5 has a reputation for sounding like a jet engine taking off. I gotta be honest, within all of the electronics that I have in my room, the one that does do that, that fits that stereotype, is actually my laptop. And sometimes it just doesn't. I swear to you guys, it's too hefty. I can't even show you guys. But trust me when I say I haven't even opened anything. Now it's about to go even crazier because I'm about to open Chrome and try to go to that Reddit page so I can download that image of Absolute Batman. Because I'm trying to modify the thumbnail so that hopefully it kicks in. And just let me know if you guys can hear me carefully as I kind of like move back and forth. So let me finish off telling the story. So technically, I did get invited to the in-art event. It did happen. Unfortunately, the in-art event ended up being scheduled for Friday. Tonight at 6 o'clock. And obviously, if I'm streaming, you guys know I'm not going. Like I said, the only way to make this feasible is when I found that out. Long story short, I was left with two options: either drive literally back and forth to and from San Diego, which is about 2 hours and 40 in the middle of the day. Because I was gonna say 2.5 hours. No, realistically, with traffic, 2 hours and 45 minutes to 2 hours and 45 minutes back, twice. On Wednesday and on Friday. I'll let you do the math of how much gas money that's going to be. And that's not counting in any food I'm going to have to pick up on the way. Or I'm just going to have to live off of granola bars. If I don't want to be spending money on food from the outside. Especially right now with all the lettuce stuff going on. No. The other option would be to either rent a hotel or an Airbnb. However, by the time that I found out when the actual date and time of the in-art event was, which was literally last week, I didn't even bother checking Airbnbs or hotels because you really think that they're not gonna uptick the price because of knowing that San Diego Comic-Con is happening? Especially Airbnbs. And I'm not, for shits and giggles, I went ahead and looked up, not even in downtown. I forgot about downtown. I just told myself 15, 20 minutes out. And sure enough, we're still looking at like the cheapest for like one of those like almost the size of a closet type rooms is still like 175, 180 just for one night. So double that. Because I would have to be 2 nights because it would have to be Wednesday night and then Thursday night because there's a day in the middle that's of nothing. For then Friday to do the in-art event today. It's not worth it. The only thing that can make it worth it is not even a thing. It's a person. That would be my girlfriend. And she's working. She would not only can she not come with because she's working. She's got a job. As opposed to the last couple of years, she actually has a job this year. So she's working. But then, even if she wasn't working, this year, both events completely cut out the option to do +1s. The McFarlane event made it clear when I signed up that no +1s could be allowed this year. And then the in-art event, when I was invited, which wasn't technically even a personal invite, it was one of those automated ones where they just shot me like a code to redeem points to then zero out the voucher. So it's almost like you're still buying a ticket, but it zeroes out. but it was only enough points to zero out one voucher. So it's their way of saying this is just for you. If you want to bring someone along, you have to pay for them. So even if she was available to come with, she wouldn't be allowed to either of the events. So I'm like, that combined with her having to work, I'm like, pragmatically, like I said, it doesn't make sense. So, yeah, when I found, like I said, that was my caveat, is that if both events can happen on the same day, I'll be like, all right, I'm willing to drive to and from San Diego if that was the case. Because then at least I can kill two birds with one stone in one day. I only have to eat out once. I only have to drive to San Diego once and drive back from San Diego once. And it's all within one day, so get out of the way, come home, dump all the footage that I filmed, and at least I got some content there. Oh, come on. Why? Okay, what is it with Photoshop that has to update almost virtually every single fucking time that I open it? It's getting on my nerves, seriously. Literally every time that I open it, it's like, oh, we got an update. Oh, we got an update. Oh, this is an older version. We got an update. Yeah, because you keep making it the older version. Fucking Adobe. It's so annoying. Actually, you know what? Get rid of this one. All right. Like I said, if any of you guys are joining right now or not listening to me, it's because I'm trying to change the thumbnail. Oh, come on. All right. We should be, well, I haven't changed it yet. I created the thumbnail, but now I have to download it off my Google Drive and actually change it in the settings. So give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna see. Can I do this? Can I do this? Yes, I can. Cool. Yeah. So long story short, yeah, like Brian, you were saying, oh, I thought you were under NDA. No, I just did not go. I didn't go. Nothing against it, but it just pragmatically didn't make sense. It just didn't. So I was hoping that maybe you did go to the Inart and McFarlane events, but we're under NDA. Yeah. Skelly Bones, I'm late to talk about Absolute, but I was photo dumping a friend. That sounds explicit. But the render looks pretty nice. Would be disappointing to see him have plastic cape. The accessories are pretty nice too. Yeah, and I keep thinking that he should come with something else, but at the same time, I'm like, what else though? I think that's really about the gist of what he comes with, and he doesn't really use batarangs like that. So yeah, I don't know. Oh my god, good thing I just noticed this. I forgot to change some of the tags. All right. Maybe that should be all right. So I believe we should now have a new thumbnail. So I guess while we're on the subject, okay, so here's the thing. I didn't go to the event, to either of the events. And like I said, the only thing that I guess I'm a little resentful for, or regretful for, or however you want to term it, is that I just didn't get to have that cool of like an experience going through these two events and then being in San Diego with my girlfriend. You know, that's really frankly the only thing that I wish could have happened. Now, in regards to specifically the events themselves, do I regret not being able to go? Kinda not, because I actually have taken a look at photos and videos of the Skyline event, and I gotta be honest, guys, I don't think I missed much. Ow, it just cracked my head. I gotta be honest, I don't know what happened, but is it just me or did it look a lot more empty? I'm seeing a lot of floor space compared to the one I went to last year. There was quite a bit to look. Hold on. This is, I believe, Pixel Dan. Yeah, this is Pixel Dan's video, who, in my opinion, I think shot the best version of the video. There were a couple of others. One in particular that I was like, dude, like, you can't even fucking focus the camera correctly. And you're over here, you know, you got all the subscribership, you get all the stuff early, and yet you can't bother yourself to actually, like, film a proper video. But at least Pixel Dan not only has really great quality, I don't know if he's using a DSLR or a mirrorless, but also a wide angle that really gives you a good sense of the space, or I should say lack thereof, considering that, like I said, yeah, I don't know what happened, but I'm over here thinking like you guys couldn't do +1s, and yet maybe if you had +1s, you could kind of make the place look a little busier. I'm sorry. I'm genuinely surprised they still invited me after all the shit talking that I've been doing. But yeah, Pixel Dan did a brief walkthrough of the event here. It's about only 8 minutes. We're not going to watch it all, but I remember it was in this section where they had the Justice League Batmobile crowdfund thing here, where they had the different tiers, the Trinity, the black and white versions, and then of course the Batmobile with the modded pieces. Taking up its space though are just pins and this Optimus Prime helmet. And then over here, like I said, you have more of the tables of what is predominantly just stuff that we already not only have in circulation, but is up for pre-order, some of which has already been kind of leaking out here. The God of War stuff, I've actually already found the Elite Edition God of War Ragnarok figure at one of my targets here that I can drive to. Didn't get it because I can honestly say it does look better in person. But it's still just not enough for me to go, oh yeah, it's coming home with me. No, I still didn't feel that. I didn't get that gut feeling of like, okay, now I'm willing to buy it. I'm like, no, see you during clearance. I left it in the car, but I gotta be honest, to prove a point, was it yesterday or the day before? I went to that same Target to see if they still had the God of War figures. They do. They had the Elite Edition with the Ares, and like I said, still didn't feel motivated. Told myself, like, maybe during clearance. And to prove a point, I actually walked out with a clearanced figure. But it wasn't McFarlane, it wasn't Marvel Legends, it was actually a Transformers figure that was half off. And it was for the War for Cybertron Optimus Prime. And I actually played that game, really dug it, dug that version of Optimus Prime, and I saw the figure in the clearance section, and I'm like, it didn't have a tag, but I'm like, is it actually clearance? Because it doesn't have the tag. Went and scanned it, half off. I was like, okay, I actually got the money right now. There's only one of you left. I get the feeling I'm not going to find this again. Walked out with it. So, CM Bronk, welcome to the stream. Silver Tones figures would be cool to have removable ears on his cowl with the knives. Man, I got to catch up on Absolute Batman because I honestly don't know what that is, but that sounds cool. Photo dumping event pictures of McFarlane Trust. Wait, Skellybones, did you go? Tony Katya, welcome to the stream. Winter Soldier Project, welcome to stream. Some new names I'm seeing here. Welcome, guys. Yeah, that's another thing too, is like making that exclusive. I'm like, what was the permutation? Not the permutations, stipulations. That's the word I'm looking for. Completely wrong word. What was the thing that made them go? Because that's what's got me kind of scared that something did happen to the Trinity version of the Absolute stuff. The fact that they didn't show the Absolute Trinity as like standalones and just the Elite Edition Batman. This wouldn't be the first time that's something like this. I can't remember exactly what the figure was, but I could have sworn that there was a couple years back something like that happened where they were gonna do like different versions of a figure with a full wave, and then they ended up canceling the wave, but only releasing like the deluxe version of something, and that was it. But yeah, these God of War figures, like I said, they're already in store. We have a couple of the speaking of which, Elite Edition and Standard Edition, Gaming Edition, as they're calling it, the Helldiver stuff. I've seen these in store already, so that's taking up a spot. Some of the Warhammer stuff. The majority of these Mortal Kombat figures are already out, some of which I think got revealed today, like the Jax. And again, I'll see you guys when you're clearance, just like that Raiden over there in the background, because at that same Target that I found that clearance Transformer figure, they have Raiden half off for $15. And even at $15, I was like, I don't know if I want it. Big Rib, welcome to stream. Yeah, like I said, half of these, they're taking up the space here on the table. I'm like, all right, cool, but we've already seen these last year. They've been in stores for a while. The Elite Edition Founders with the what was his name again? That starts with a V, but this is Jim Lee's creation. What was his name again? Is there a nameplate? I'm blanking on his name. I don't want to say Vigilante. No, it starts with a V. Savage Dragon, and then Witchblade. We got the Wolverine ripoff over there, Silverhawk. Was it Silverhawk? All right, cool. Some of these are already in stores. Some of the Hellboy stuff. It's funny. This was revealed, and even though I don't personally feel the need to buy this figure, I can respect it, which is the Geiger figure. Something about it pops, and the accessories are actually kind of neat, very horror-centric, that I'm like, this is kind of neat. This is actually kind of neat. I don't know if I want it, but like, I don't, blame anyone for wanting it. Does that make sense? More Spawn, more of the Demon Slayer stuff. So you're noticing just like how spaced out some of the stuff is. Down stuff. My girlfriend watches that show. And then we get the tiny Q-Fix stuff. This push with the Q-Fix, it's got me rubbed off the wrong way, dude. I don't know what it is, but the amount of pushing for the Q-Fix and the sports stuff, I'm like, what's going on here? And it's kind of a rhetorical question because they have to start this level of pushing a little bit on the early side right now because of the, wrong button. I'll have to lower the light a little bit. Because of the loss of the DC license, there has to be, you have to start planting the seeds for what's going to be anchoring your company later going into 2027. And as I've said in the past, to me, what could have been a banger of a strategy is to really hone in on the Mortal Kombat stuff. But when you started those figures off at $30 and all it came with was a wired kunai for Scorpion and then barely hand accessories for Liu Kang, no fire accessories, or I can't remember what exactly, but it only came with like one thing. I'm like, bro. And some of the sports stuff, some of which are statues, like the original 90s stuff, but then some articulated stuff like the the NBA players here, which, hey, there's LeBron. There's the Curry and LeBron makes sense. They're much more contemporary, but please let me know when you guys are finally going to do Jordan or Patrick Ewing or Tim Duncan. DC superpowers. Hold on, got an ad. So yeah, I'm looking at this event and going, I'm not feeling too terrible about missing it, if I'm being quite honest. There's that new version of the page pointer Superman, and then right behind it, some other stuff that, like I said, it's already in circulation, like the Melissa Benoist CW Supergirl, the Billy D. Williams Two-Face, which, let me actually check what the status is. Still no movement. God, I hate it when this happens. But officially, my Billy D. Williams Two-Face has shipped from GameStop. Officially. Unofficially, it's that bullshit limbo stage where they generated the shipping label, but then now they're waiting. Whoever is in logistics over there at GameStop is just sitting on their ass, not actually giving it to USPS. Get me? So someone made the label, but someone's not physically taking it to the post office and saying, here, start shipping it out. And considering that, well, I guess technically it could still happen today. But if it doesn't happen tomorrow, I'm looking at Monday to move. Which then means it's probably not arriving until, then again, it depends on where it's moving from. If it's coming from Vegas, the McFarlane warehouse, then I would say maybe by like Wednesday or Thursday. But I'm not 100% hedging my bets. But officially, my Billy D. Williams Two-Face is on its way. Hoping to review it. Hoping is the key word. And if so, it'll definitely, if you guys know, I don't know if some of you noticed with my in-art Arkham Origins Batman figure review, where not only did we have a brand new intro with artworks provided by Skelly Bones in the chat, thank you so much, but with that new intro, I'm kind of trying to simplify and pare down my reviews in a way that will make them shorter. The only reason for why that one was still at the 26-minute, almost 30-minute mark was because I was covering two figures. But trust me, from now on, I'm trying my absolute best to just make smaller, shorter reviews that are just straight to the point with minimal editing, because the analytics are showing that kind of content is just not working anymore. It used to work probably in the height of COVID because everyone's stuck inside, but now the pendulum within the toy tuber space, and I almost kind of wish that I could like talk to other toy tubers about how they feel about this, trying to get some insight. But I feel like the pendulum has kind of swung in the opposite direction, where now we have to go back to the other direction of just shortening the content, because the data is showing that, yeah, people are finally voting with, you know how the term is voting with your wallets. I think people are now voting with their time, where some of those recent videos that were nearing the 40-minute stage, there's a huge drop off, barely a third into the video, where I'm like, yeah, for a 6-inch figure, I think it's time to call that on that concept and just figure out a compromise of just doing, and then going into my analytics and seeing what other people are watching. And I've been doing the research as far as watching other people's reviews, Anthony Customs, Nostalgia Unboxed, and then noticing that an awful lot of them are trying to get managed to get the point across in under 15 minutes. And I'm like, my OCD, my neuroticism is going to get super triggered here, but it's time to start doing it. It's time to look at how I can challenge myself to deliver figure reviews in about 15 to 20 minutes. No more than 20 minutes. And the outlier recently was that Arkham Origins video from Arkham Origins Batman video from InArt, because I was comparing two versions of the same figure, the standard and the battle damage. If I only had the one, it probably would have been 13 to 17 minutes or so, because I wouldn't have compared it to anything. I would have just focused on the figure, tackle articulation, and just try to streamline it as best as possible. And I'm hoping to maybe further exemplify that with Billy D. Williams Two-Face here, especially since I think the biggest comparison section, and also you guys noticed when I talked about scale, I just flashed quick frames of of the in-art Batman with the DC Direct one, with the McFarlanes, with the LPZZ, with the prior in-art releases like the Bale Batman. But teaching myself how to, like, okay, you can see it on the wide angle. We don't need to cut to like a gimbal or anything like that. Like, I need to start training my brain to do that. To be like, okay, we don't need that right now, and saving that time towards where it really matters, to a close up of something that is needed when you talk about a certain detail, like on the battle damage. When I point out the bullet holes on his abdomen, on his chest for the battle damage, I'm like, that definitely needs a cutaway of like a close up of that. But yeah, there's some things that just don't. And one of those things, I don't know if you guys noticed, if you watched that video, no rating. Ratings are done. That's one thing that I was like, okay, yeah, I can cut that out. Start with the ratings, because coming up with my shot list and going, okay, well, I need a shot for the rating for him to turn around on that. I need a end screen shot. I need an intro shot. I'm like, no, just get into the video. So if you guys go back and watch that video, it just starts with that artwork, and then, hey guys, welcome to this video of the art, because those are the videos that showed up in my analytics that people are watching. That's what people are watching, and that's what I need to mold myself to if I want to become continue being a toy tour. And that is, if that's what I want to do, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm in a current state of flux as far as what I want to do with the channel, because I don't know, stuff is happening in my life right now that's putting things into perspective in a way where I'm like, do I want to keep collecting? Do I want to keep doing this, or do something else? I don't know. Hinting at a potential topic to close the stream with, but we'll revisit that. Let's get back to this quick showcase. And then at this table was also the other page punchers, like the new 89 comic Batman with the purple inside part of the coat, the Alex Ross figures for both Batman and Superman, the Bat Missile, which did in fact exist, and then all of the Supergirl stuff. Again, stuff that's already out. Some of those collector's editions, which I believe are on pre-orders now. The Alan Scott, Solomon Grundy 2-pack. That one, that some of these figures are being found at Target. I actually already found the Dead Man Batman, which I'm a little tempted to get because of how much he pops. The Poison Ivy, the Poison Ivy, which is currently up for pre-order, but is also kind of sort of being found by some people throughout the country. Now, paused here is actually this Raven, which was technically kind of a new reveal at this event. She is being primed for being a collector's edition, and she was technically shown at the during the panel today, but strangely she was shown as a render, which is kind of interesting considering that we have an actual prototype here physically at this event. So I was like, oh, that was interesting. Also up for pre-order at GameStop, but also being found by some people at Walmart already. The Black Mask over there in the background, as well as the new Dark Knight Returns number 3 or 4, actually. I think it's 4, because if we factor in that cover recreation version, I'm like, yeah, we already got. Is he gonna focus in a little bit more on it? No, he's not. So we're gonna have to rewind, because I don't think he's gonna. No, he's not. Okay. I'm trying to keep him in focus. He didn't focus on him. What's wrong with you, Pixel Dan? Kelly Jones Batman, who was in the leaked documents, did make an appearance here. He only appeared at the event, but he was not talked about during the live stream later that afternoon. So pretty curious. Now, it's a Kelly Jones Batman. Am I stoked for it, though? What do you guys think? Because you can make out that that body is once again that goddamn Hushbuck with a different chest plate. It's an overhauled chest plate. I can't. Kind of looks like the Three Joker chest plate, but I can't officially confirm that. But I can make out the creases of the arms. Look at those hands. Look at the legs. It's the Hushbuck again. They just put the Kelly Jones head. There's that collar piece, and then of course the wired cape. Because like, of course, why wouldn't they? That San Diego Comic-Con exclusives here with these right here on the side, specifically that red hood. In case you guys didn't get it. Again, this 2-pack already in stores. The Black Adam wave. There's that 80s Wonder Woman. Wait, hold on, go back. Let's go back to that wide shot. Did I see something else that I forgot or no? Oh, yeah. Did he even look at that? Hold on. Okay, I believe that's this one right here. That black suited right here. This guy. That's the Neil Adams Batman, correct? Now, again, doesn't matter because the Hushbuck. Well, no. I think there's some parts from Hush, but it's also mixed in with maybe 3 Jokers. And then I gotta be honest, that mouth plate, isn't that the Spawn Batman that's also yelling? But they just shortened the ears? I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm getting lost in the sauce. And these are the kind of things that's also putting me in a bit of a existential state of mind regarding collecting and regarding moving forward. Because it's just like, guys, how many times am I going to look at a figure and go, do I already own this? Or are they using parts of this? And I'm like, it's burning me out. Basically, I'll confess to you guys, it's burning me out. Now, I'll admit that as far as what was shown at this event, these are the two Batmans that stood out to me. I was like, okay, I guess we keep these on the radar. But even then, I'm not like jumping out of my seat. I guess I'm technically jumping out of my seat more so for the absolute Batman that was revealed today at the panel. But as far as what was at this event, to again sort of vindicate myself from not feeling terribly bad that I didn't go, I'm fine. I'm cool. Here we have some more of the Marvel classic statues, which do look neat, but again, I'm not a big statue guy, because that's what these are. These are statues. Some pre-post stuff regarding the new Wolverine game, which has a god-awful keychain with the worst facial hair. That... just paint it. You guys sculpted the facial hair? Just paint it. Winter Soldier Project. I just ordered the Gong Hush Batman. Did David review it? I did. It's on the channel, and I loved it. It's a different take. It's got this strange aesthetic that I didn't think I would like, but I did. So it's up on the channel. I don't know what's with this keychain, but the other two are come to be expected, and we kind of already knew about, which was going to be the pre-post statue, which definitely looks a lot better. Ooh, I didn't like how it wobbled there, though. But you also got the miniaturized cowl. This Hulk actually looks pretty sick. If I was a bigger Hulk fan, I actually probably would put down the money for this. This Hulk statue is no joke. If I was a bigger Hulk fan, and then of course the brand new day stuff, which is literally in a week, and so far I'm on track to go see it next Friday, so no stream next week for sure, because, well, unless there's a stream Thursday. Maybe I'll stream Thursday, because I know that tonight we have the InArt event that I'm not going to, but should there be stuff showcase that's worth talking about, maybe I'll point that out next week. Why did I pause? I didn't mean to. Why did I pause? Sorry, Dan. I paused at the wrong. I did not mean to pause there. Oh god. All right. That's it for the event. So yeah, I'm honestly not super sad that I didn't go to the McFarlane event, if I'm being honest. And I guess a similar thing could be said about the McFarlane Toy Show, which was shown later that evening at 5 o'clock, thinking that maybe they were gonna show something new. They pretty much didn't. Honestly, they just recapped virtually everything, including some Vault Edition, which for some reason included the Santa Batman as well, but rightfully included a non-collector's edition Power Girl, because a lot of people missed this Power Girl. This was another figure that made total sense to be part of the Vault Edition, along with I'm starting to get oversaturation with this goddamn Azrael, because they announced the pre-orders for this, but technically out there is that reflective one with the darker blue. So I'm like, guys, you're gonna start confusing people, because this one that went up for pre-order as a Vault Edition is the Walmart exclusive gold label with the lighter baby blue. So officially, I personally already have this guy. But I'm telling you, people are going to start getting confused, and that's what burns people out, because, you got like, oh, well, this is the version that came out here, and I'm like, it's going to get lost in the sauce, man. And then we get some of those sneak peeks of those collector's editions, some of the DC basically what you just saw at the table, the Batman Animated Series Build-A-Figure that comes with, that builds Renee Montoya, which is, again, definitely a choice for the Build-A-Figure. I don't know how much of an incentive that's going to build. No pun intended. Spawn pins. Okay, so here's the thing. San Diego Comic-Con exclusives on the show floor that were very Green Lantern focused. And shout out to McFarlane for giving the Green Lantern Corps a bit of some love this year. Because not only at this McFarlane Toy Show, they highlighted these booth exclusives for UCC and I think a couple of other booths, Entertainment Earth, I believe, with the white suited Hal Jordan there. That was a Kyle Rayner, I believe, over here. There it is. And then what even I have to admit is a pretty neat. Did they pass it already? Not yet. John Stewart with the blue. And then that Kilowog, which I gotta be honest, that Kilowog actually looks kind of neat. And the packaging with the collector edition, but then the green lenticular, it definitely does have some presence, where if I was a big Green Lantern fan and also an inbox collector, I would be kicking myself right now to be like, oh, why didn't I get these? But I'm not, so I'm cool. As well as a Sinestro Corps Platinum variant of Kilowog there. So pretty neat that they opted in for that. And again, this is not the first time not the last time that we're going to see a little bit of Green Lantern representation coming out of this week. So again, some reiterations. We got another question here, only with the brown suit, gold label. Some of those collector's editions that were also SDCC exclusive, like that Red Hood, which I technically already have, and the variant with the head. Some more Supergirl coverage, and Claudio lying through his teeth saying that he loved it. There's a pre-book comic book for the new Insomniac Wolverine game. If anyone's interested, revealed yesterday at the panel. I feel like we're starting to enter oversaturation of what they're showing out of that game. They dropped a new story trailer, but I've seen some screenshots that I'm like, I don't want to see this. I feel like they're starting to show a little bit too much. Like, just drop the game. September 15th. I technically already have it pre-ordered through Amazon, because I know Amazon doesn't charge right away. Hopefully I get it day one, because I know that Amazon sometimes can be like, oh, you'll get it. We'll ship it on day one. But then you won't get it for like another day or two. So I'm catching up on chat. All right. So yeah, we have this. Is this resin or no? I mean, it doesn't matter to me. And then some more of that Spawn statue. What was his name again? Let me look at the name. Dude, show me the fucking name. What? Why can I not remember this name of Jim Lee's character? And whatever. But yeah, the next Elite Edition. There's a little bit more of a look at Geiger, of course, the Witchblade, the brand new Day statues, Todd vandalizing stuff at Walmart. More of those statues. Again, like they're kind of just grabbing stuff that was on the floor, and then the amount of time they spent on the Q figs. That, like I said, I guess I'll say it, at the risk of not getting invited to a McFarlane Toys event ever, or getting stuff sent for free. This is effectively just a quick way to be able to secure some extra capital before the license is out. Because if the DC license for McFarlane also includes the Q figs, yeah, undoubtedly it's a way to be like, we got to make our money in case we start falling flat entering 2027. And why is this a very easy way to accrue that money? Because this is a blind box mechanic. Gambling. Let's just call a spade a spade. And it's a spade, whatever the fucking word is. It's gambling. An easy way to get money? It's gambling. Because in order to collect all of these, you need as Brian delicately worded it, go out on the hunt. Right. Hunt. Oh, and it glows and all that. I'm like, guys. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, if there's any toy tuber that you guys watch and they're doing like hunts or unboxing videos of these things, I'm not going to like tell you to just don't listen to them or shut them out. No, but please, please, please be cautious of what they're talking about. Be cautious of what kind of language and what kind of vibe you're getting from them. Take everything you say from them with a grain of salt. If there's a toy tuber that does toy hunts and then out of nowhere they start saying, oh yeah, those Q figs are dropping, I'm going to see if I can find... And they never covered any other variation of a blind bag or blind box or whatever the hell in the past, you automatically assume that something's up. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Just assume that something is afoot and take everything they say with a grain of salt, because it just doesn't read well. Nah, man. And effectively, this is one of the few moments where I'm kind of glad I never got sent anything sent for free from McFarlane directly. I'll go on record to say that the only things I've gotten for free to review on the channel from McFarlane were specifically Fidgetals, because I knew someone who was part of the McFarlane Toys digital department. The department that's not exactly being talked about by McFarlane at all. There was no mention of the McFarlane Toys digital stuff at today's panel, nor when was the last time McFarlane directly addressed McFarlane Toys digital? When? I'm sorry, I'm not saying it's shut down. I mean, I know that it still exists. I know it's still out there and active, but McFarlane himself, or even these guys right here, Brian and Claudio or AJ, wherever he's at, he didn't show up this year. When was the last time they acknowledged digital? I don't know, but here's Q-Figs. Now we got Spawn, and we got DC. It's like, yeah. So, yeah, the only free stuff I got out of McFarlane was the Fidgetal stuff, and that's because I knew someone who was part of the Fidgetal community. And he offered, and I was like, yeah, sure, as long as it's Batman set trick, even if it's like his villains or whatever. And so I think grand total, I got like 6, maybe 7 figures. And the reason for why it's a little bit, higher of a number than I'm expecting is because I know that 4 of them were part of this like whole box wave, and then the other 2 or 3 were like separate. One of which was the Two-Face, the Silver Age Two-Face that was part of a Fidgetal. So, but that was it. In terms of like actual McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures that were sent out for free, never. Like I said, I can literally go into my channel and tell you guys which ones I got for free, and it'll be literally technically more than one hand, but just under two hands, like 7 or 8, maybe 8, but that's it. Every other McFarlane figure bought with my own money, and maybe I got a discount back when I used to work at Best Buy, but apart from that, that's it. Out of pocket. So yeah, which is crazy because then I'll get I remember it hasn't happened in a while, but every so often in like last year, the year before, and definitely in 2022, 2023, we'll get barrage of comments of people saying, "Oh, that's because they're paying you." I'm like, sure, sure. If I really wanted to, I could show you the emails and the conversations of that show where the only ones that I got for free. More of the sports stuff, including mentioning of the collaboration with Blitzway with the 1/6 scale figure, which is kind of neat that they're doing this. I don't want it, but it's like a fresh take that I'm like, if they do something like this, but with, like I said, a Michael Jordan, or if they want to do Music Maniacs and go into music, since they've done Music Maniacs, they did a Music Maniacs 6-inch figure of Freddie Mercury. I would not mind that. And what's this? Bro, I just tuned out with this, and then they brought John with the Poppy Playtime. I don't know what the fuck that is. Helldivers, God of War. Again, mostly just recap, with the exception of an actual proper look at the Nuka-Cola variant of this. By the way, go back. I don't know if they're going to show that one. This guy, actually found him at Target the other day. And it's funny because he definitely pops, but I can already tell from just looking at him in the box that I'm like, this thing is probably going to be abysmal to articulate because of all of that paint that it's coated in. It's not going to move. And if it does, it's going to crack. Mortal Kombat. And then that was it. So yeah, when this thing wrapped, I was like, you guys there better be something Friday, because like I said, I'm starting to lose. I was starting to lose a little bit of, hope with McFarlane here, because I'm like, damn, man, damn. David, I absolutely enjoyed your Patterson Batman face-off video. Face-off? Patterson? You mean Pattinson Batman? Was it the one that had the Fonjoy also? Because it included the Fonjoy, the Mezco, the Mafex, the Figuarts, the McFarlane. Speaking of Pattinson Batman, just when I said I was giving up hope, as we covered at the beginning of this stream, and for those of you tuning in late, I'll give you guys a brief recap. Absolute Batman Elite Edition is in fact real. Unfortunately, only at Walmart exclusive. I personally think that's bullshit. A lot of people want this. Needs to be more readily available. And it's dog shit. I don't know what kind of stipulation was presented by WB or the artists or the comic book publisher. I don't know. But, this is probably the highlight of today's panel. One that I almost kind of missed because almost nobody was really sharing photos of it. I was following McFarlane Toy. Okay, finally, there you go. In Pursuit of Toys just shared it. In Pursuit of Toys finally shared, I believe, this exact screenshot, along with other stuff from today's panel. So I might have to kind of like jump back and forth between In Pursuit of Toys, Toy Shiz, because I was right before the stream went live, I was going through Toy Shiz, I was going through Todd McFarlane's personal accounts, trying to see like, okay, what are you guys sharing? And nobody was sharing this until the last second, right before going live and switching off my starting soon screen, that someone in the comments section of this post put this photo up. And I was like, oh, thank God. It was actually over here. You guys can see it here. And I even responded saying, bless you, because like I said, I almost missed this because it was part of this panel slideshow here that has some pretty cool looks at the stuff that was shown at the panel. Some of which, like I said, we've already kind of gotten the gist of, like the Nuka-Cola Fallout armor, some of the statues here, some, for lack of a better term, Player 2 variants of the Mortal Kombat Classic stuff. I think we need to start rolling into Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 and get away from the first game, because, guys, come on. Like I said, it's getting a little... Although I think they are. I think this look for Shang Tsung and Johnny Cage, I think, is from the second game. I could be wrong about that. And look at this. Is this a two? Oh, this is a 2-pack. That's why. Because I was like, oh, hey, are we actually tossing in more accessories? Yeah, but under the catch that this is a 2-pack. All right, never mind. Because okay, yes. Wait. Are they focusing on 2-packs only for Mortal Kombat? Is the Mortal Kombat line dying as well? I hope not. I just wish that they were cheaper. Because now they're probably thinking... Because to me, like I said, the optics of that, guys, is like, okay, people aren't buying them individually, so let's pack them, because if they want one character, they have to buy both. Because I just saw the top part here, multi-packs. These are 2-packs. Sets. So that's the only way to get that Jax, is to buy it with the Kung Lao, Player 2. And if you want this Johnny Cage with the photo and the glasses and the alternate head, you gotta get this Shang Tsung. I believe this is Mortal Kombat 2, because I think I read somewhere that Baraka didn't get put into the game until the second one. So yeah, okay, so they are doing MK2. All right. I was just about to say, I'm like, it's time to move on, guys. You're gonna have to do it. That's what I thought so too. That crossed my mind, Winter Soldier. That Pattinson comparison is gonna have to happen again with that might have to be its own video. If I want to keep videos shorter, I might have to actually splice that off and have it be its own thing. But as I mentioned before, more love for the Green Lantern, because we got Grull, Midfill, which I call Living Broccoli, Nukkeloy, and Sinestro when he was Green Lantern. Individualized Green Lantern figures. Part of the single card release. So that's pretty interesting. Excuse me. Then we get, speaking of Pattinson, some more confirmed leaks. Deluxe Theatrical Edition. Pattinson Batman again, with what almost looks like a retool. When I saw this, I was like, is this a retool? Or it's just posed in a way to make him look a little broader. I almost want to say it's just the posing, but otherwise it's the same figure with a lighter coat of paint that, I gotta be honest, doesn't look great, because his suit was not that bright in the movie. I don't know what's happening here, but his suit was not that bright in the movie. But he is going to have a cloth cape, it seems. It's got to be, since Deluxe Theatrical Edition, which means these things are $35. So you guys better have some good accessories to be packed in here with. And it's a little alarming that they didn't show any accessories, considering that if you look a little closely, these are not renders, these are actually prototypes. They're fully plasticized, plasticed, whatever. And also, before I move on, these photos are provided by Toy News Eye, that were simply just taken from a mod here, I believe is a mod, or somebody over at the McFarlane Toys subreddit, and posted. So credit to Toy News Eye. But in the middle here, again, the one that we saw coming, Battle Damage Catwoman. Same Catwoman with a painted, torn up piece right here on her shoulder, some gashes, and then of course a brand new head sculpt that should have just been an accessory packed in with the original. Curious that the Keaton Batman was not in here. You might as well just shown him, since, like I said, if anything, now that I think about it, I think the reason why they didn't show that Battle Damage returns Keaton Batman is because they don't want to cannibalize current sales of the 89 comic Paint Puncher Batman, which is starting to ship out and circulate right now. Next to her, is actually a pretty anticipated figure, Commissioner Gordon from The Dark Knight. Now, yes, they're making a Commissioner Gordon Batman. You know who else could also make a Commissioner Gordon Batman? You. Because all you really need to do is go out to your local Walmart and track down the Starman figure, give it a new coat of paint with brown for the coat and then darker muted tones for the inside outfit, and then find the DC Direct Gordon or the Mattel Gordon from the 2008 series from back in the day, the Movie Masters, and plop it on. Because, yeah, there's a really good chance that is exactly what's happening here. It's the Starman body. I mean, look at that coat. Look at those tight pants. For Gordon? Yeah, I'm a little bummed by the Gordon. To the point where now I'm not even sure if I want it anymore. Because prior to this, I kind of wanted a Gordon to pair well with the plethora of Bale Batmans that McFarlane has made. And now I'm like, look at this edgelord of a Gordon. Because they're utilizing the Starman body, which I guess also is practically the Constantine body, which I'm disappointed, but I called from a mile away that I'm like, that's probably what they're going to do. It's just going to be the Constantine body. And sure enough, it was. I was like, there was this tiny little part of me that's like, action figure guy, welcome to stream. And yeah, why do they have to reuse the same body for Commissioner Gordon? I mean, I know it works for him, but it looks too comic book for a movie. Yeah, like he's supposed to be like, what's a good bot? I'm trying to think. What would have been a good... I guess any of the goddamn Red Platinum Scarecrow, but just remold the middle part here to be open. I don't know, man. And then on top of that, it's Commissioner Gordon Deluxe Theatrical Edition. So for $35, what else can they throw in there? A gun? Badge? That you can maybe like Flash? What else? What else do you use in the movie? Not much. That's why I'm like, it's winding me again. It's burning me out. Now, going back to renders, we have these here that were again also shown on the on the leak list. 7-inch figures, so not collectors nor deluxe theatrical, meant to be between 25 and 27. Among them is yet again another tactical suit Batman from Justice League. Now, curious to see that it's actually going to be bearing an uncowled, unmasked Ben Affleck head. How well is that likeness going to be? I don't know, considering that there's always been this trepidation with the likeness that it makes me wonder, were they able to get it back? Or is he going to look a little weird? Hey, Just Choom, welcome to the stream. Illusion Entity, welcome to the stream. You guys are joining. Like I said, I've seen a lot of new names today. Welcome, guys. So I'm curious how this Justice League Ben Affleck Batman's going to play out. And it is a render, so things could definitely change in a way. Is that actually the 6-scale shills? The 6-scale shills. You guys watch me? The fuck? I'm having imposter syndrome right now. Okay, welcome, guys. I'm sorry, but I know about you guys. I watch Will Foxification and Eversoft, watch Justin Collections videos. I keep, in tune with the 1/6 scale community. I'm kind of falling out of the 1/6 scale collecting because it's gotten expensive, and I'm just trying to keep things focused on 1/12. But interesting that you guys watch. Cool. Yeah, so I know about you guys. So your name's not foreign. I saw you guys probably, and I'm like, oh shit. All right, welcome. Yeah, so I see these renders. That's a mighty buff Robin to be wearing those. um, so yeah, as well as the Plastic Man. So, but I am curious on that Hush Catwoman. Although I'm worried about that diaper piece. But in terms of the actual look of the render, not bad. Minus the diaper piece. But curious to see that they're finally checking that box, and it will complement the other Hush figures as well. This one doesn't hurt me all that much, but I do not blame anyone whatsoever if they are livid over this. People have been once again, it's that weird shady shit, just like with, I guess to me this is the other side of the spectrum when it comes to that Elite Batman being Walmart exclusive, because that hurts me. So other people are now being hurt by the fact that not only do you have a weird typo here at the bottom that says Catwoman, so I don't know if this was like a last minute addition, but on top of that, they have not a render, but an actual prototype of a comic accurate, classic looking Harley Quinn, complete with the Jester outfit and everything, and the bang and the mallet, classic. Stuck as a GameStop exclusive. Well, it's 6 scale. You get what I'm saying. Yeah, because I wasn't 100% certain if, multiple people run the channel, if it was just one person, but yeah. I know about you guys. Or about you, I should say. Because of likeness rights. Yeah, action figure guy. Either that or they keep an unmasked head, but it just doesn't look like him. So yeah, people are upset that Harley's locked behind a GameStop exclusive, and GameStop is, let's put it this way, it's kind of a miracle that those 89 Two-Face figures are going out right now, because some people are like, oh, you guys are actually shipping something? Because they along with Target have a bit of, and even Walmart actually, whenever it's an exclusive, sometimes there's like some kind of like mistranslation where, for lack of a better term, they pretty much overbook or over pre-order, and sometimes they end up canceling a lot of things. And this doesn't just go with McFarlane. This goes with like other stuff that are exclusive to the store, especially around con time, like when certain NECA figures are exclusive to Target, and then they end up canceling those. Some Super 7 stuff, when Super 7 was making just a bunch of shit. Even some Marvel Legends stuff. So yeah. So God be with us when the pre-order for this launches, whoever wants it. Some more collector's editions, most of which are just renders and were teased, and again, we're part of that leak list. One of which, like I said, was pretty strange. That was a render here, even though she was physically on the floor during that event on Wednesday, which was the Raven. A Atrocitus and Ren Lanterns 2-pack with that. What's the name of the cat here? Or is it a cat or a mouse? Can't make it out. I'm not very well versed on the lantern stuff, so. And then we had this panel here, which was iconic DC comic book. Oh yeah, they're page punchers. Okay, makes sense. Curious of this. I gotta be honest. There's a compelling enough assortment here of the Nightwing, the Tim Drake, the Dick Grayson Robin, and even the Batman #1. Except Batman #1, if you guys can pick it out right now, yes, that is in fact the Nightfall Buck, repainted, retooled. Well, not retooled, but like overhauled with the apps and the new cape. But it's the Nightfall Buck. I can make it out from a mile away. And then I believe that Robin, that red platinum one to his right, the Nightwing number 81, we got that already, didn't we? I actually recently pulled it out of storage because I was trying to make it a compare. Oh, it's the one that I used during my comparison with the Mattel stuff. Only it's got a longer cape. They actually made the cape longer. And the R looks different. Some of the paint apps look different. But otherwise, we've gotten that figure before. It's just now being put in the inside of a page puncher. Yeah, it was part of like the Batman Reborn, wasn't it? So yeah, that's why I'm like, sure. And then at the top here was yet another Doomsday. How many times have we gotten this mega figure already? Yeah. And unless I missed something, minus again, the big drop to me personally was the massive bulge that that is the absolute Batman here. Coming soon. No exact time window, but we'll see. It's got to be the end of the year, considering stuff that's happening with the license and whatnot. But I believe that's it for McFarlane and Comic-Con. Unless I missed something. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys have any information that could probably relay my way. Is that a reuse of the animated Harley body mold from early on in McFarlane's run, or is that a new body? Action figure guy, I honestly completely forgot about that, but you're right, it might just be a reuse. Just like I told myself, I think actually on the last stream we covered that leak list, and in that leak list was a 7-inch Batman The New Adventures figure. And when I saw that name, the first thing that came to my brain was like, oh, he's just going to take that animated series Batman that he made with like the really exaggerated proportions. That sure, he was trying to mimic that Tim Burton, that Bruce Timm look, but he made the top body just so wide and the legs so skinny that trying to pose that fucking thing is just the worst. And I immediately thought all he's going to do is just dig up that figure, give it the new Batman New Adventures coat of paint with like just all gray, no yellow symbol, darker skin tone, and that's it. And now I'm starting to think that maybe he's doing that with the Harley. So, hold on. Did I close it already? No. The very skinny waist kind of makes me think it might be the animated. There might be a bit of a Frankensteining method happening here where it might be using the animated series as a foundation, but they might be overhauling some parts of the limbs and then definitely the head. Let me actually try something. Hold on. Real quick. I just had a brain fart. Oh. McFarlane animated Harley Quinn. There we go. Because I know they can't. Oh, son of a fucking bitch. No. Oh, I'm about to pull an obsession. No, don't do that. Look at the waist. Look at the thing on the neck, with the jester things and the little balls at the end. The collar, yeah. Look at the collar. And the arms. God damn it. Is the hammer retooled too? The mallet? Or not retooled, but repainted. Although, is this square? I think it's square, huh? Wait, it came with the gun. Velos of the Deep, welcome to the stream. I didn't say hi to you. So, again, going back to what the little bit of a theme that I was tackling a little earlier. Oh, spoilers for what I'm going to cover next. A lot of things are happening, and technically not just with McFarlane, also with Marvel Legends here, where a lot of decisions are being made that just kind of, like I said, are putting things into perspective with me as far as where I want to be. Like, it's one of those things where I'm having like an out of body experience, or out of collector experience, to then turn around, look at me dead in the face, and go, "Do you want to keep collecting this stuff? Yes or no?" And I got to be honest, gun to my head, I'm like, no. And don't get me wrong, it kind of depresses me. Because if you really think about it, an awful lot of the stuff that was shown at McFarlane now, as we're breaking it down, you guys are asking the questions like, is that the animated series Harley Quinn just with a new head? Yeah. That Commissioner Gordon, it's Constantine. It's the Starman that's currently in stores right now, just with a different head and a different coat of paint. It's just a couple of like notches away from being custom work. They're just doing it for you. You're basically paying, and I'm not saying this as like being inherent, just as long as you're informed. If you don't mind paying these prices to have the official company that has the license to all this do the work for you from like a customizer, like if you're not a customizer, or you like to mod your figures or whatever and make like custom figures, you're effectively paying these prices to have the company do it for you, because that's where they are now. And again, from a business standpoint, that makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't. It also doesn't mean we have to like it. Doesn't make business sense, pragmatic sense. Yes. Does it also suck the fun out of it for me personally? Yes, because I see the name on the leak list and go, oh, Commissioner Gordon, I wonder what that looks like. I see a render and I go, oh, it's the Constantine figure. I recognize, and it's a bug that doesn't even serve the character right. It makes Gary Oldman's Commissioner Gordon look more like his Sid Field from back in the, when did that movie come out? The 90s, when Gary Oldman was playing not Sid Field, Sid Barrett. Sid Field is a screenwriter. Sid Barrett, when he played Sid Barrett from Sex Pistols. Let me look him up. Looks like it looks like that kind of. It looks like if Sid Barrett was Commissioner Gordon, because of how popped up this collar is and how pulled the shirt is down with the tie kind of undone. I'm like, that's not befitting of the character. It's just lazy. It needs to make sense for the character. God, I'm getting more pissed off the more I think about it. But yeah, no problem. Sixth grade. Sixth scale shills, no problem, man. Gotta give you props for the same. I'm prepping for tomorrow, and my head is spinning with the amount of shit to get through. Yeah, just segue it as much as humanly possible. But yeah, Sid Barrett. Yeah, Sid Barrett. Gary. Oh, that's weird. It didn't autofill. Well, wait, no, Sid Barrett's the one who. Sid Vicious. Holy shit. I got it wrong 3 times. Sid Barrett is from Pink Floyd. I said Sid Field, Sid Barrett, and Sid Vicious. Sid Vicious is who I'm talking about. Sid Barrett is from Pink Floyd. I got my classic rock confused. Yeah, like McFarlane might as well just make this. Oh man, this is a rather unhinged stream today. Good. That's how I'm feeling. Might as well make this, McFarlane. Yeah, I so far that's the greatest. Yeah, I would say it's probably the bigger disappointment than Absolute Batman being a Walmart exclusive. No, yeah, action figure guy. That the returns Catwoman, and I said it. I'll say it again. I'll die on this hill. Is that they could have just made the alternate head an accessory, and made that deluxe theatrical edition worth much more. Because if you go back and well, not right now, but when you have the chance, I did a review, a very long video, which I'm trying not to do anymore. But I did a pretty much a 45, almost hour long video where I covered the entire Batman Returns wave, the deluxe theatrical wave. And when I got to Catwoman, I highlighted how when you look at the box, there's a giant. They took the card, that trading card, and they put it towards the front and detached it from the back cardboard because they knew that there was a huge giant empty space in the box there, and they were trying to make the box look much more filled up than it was. So they took the card and they put it on the plastic tray instead of in the cardboard behind it, because they knew that was pretty much their self-report saying, we know that she doesn't come with much. Oh, she could have if you thrown in that battle damage head. No, we're gonna release it as a separate thing later. What the fuck, dude? Like, those are the things that I'm like, come on, you know what you're doing. Don't treat me like an idiot. Because to be honest, that's what offends me most, is when I get treated like an idiot thinking that I'm stupid. I'm like, fuck out of here. PSA Marvel Tolkien open beta happening right now through Sunday. Yeah, part of me wants to engage in that, Brian, but then another part of me is like, or I could just wait a couple weeks and just get the game, you know, when it's polished. Velos of the Deep. Most companies seem to be really trying to maximize profits with tons of reuse along with higher prices. I said it before, it's the McDonald's effect. And again, it's one of the things that's putting into perspective whether or not I want to keep collecting this year, whether or not I want to like pivot the channel towards something else and tackle other things I just want to make videos of. Because the figures that are being made now and the new reveals, like, it's just not the way that it was even during COVID time. Because during COVID time, it was like, oh my God, we're doing this, we're doing that. McFarlane's doing this, McFarlane's doing that. And going into 2021 and even 2022, somewhere around late 2023 is when we started to get, I think, I'm going to say it, that's when the fidgetal stuff started to kind of give me a little bit of the ick, because that's when an awful lot of other people outside of even comic books, outside of action figures, but in other hobbies were like, oh, NFTs, oh, Labubus, oh, that's when, as the word has now been coined, and I'm kind of surprised it's not in the Urban Dictionary at this point, the enshittification started to happen. Get what I'm saying? And I'm not just talking about action figures, I'm talking about every goddamn hobby, where the hobbies weren't about the hobbies, they were about the thought of the hobbies. They were about the exposure of the hobbies, the content of the hobbies. This new video of like, I'm going to track down this, come with me, instead of actually focusing on the thing. That's when it started, I feel. And it's been a little bit, I'm not going to say it's been downhill from there, but it just hasn't been at that height. We're still technically in elevation, but we're no longer on the mountain. Now we're on the hill. Does that make sense? Anyways, let's talk about these idiots. Marvel Legends. Still doing that stupid thing of wearing a hat with the hair pulled down like a fucking 8-year-old, Dan. we have the Marvel Legends panel. I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna go ahead and spoil it, guys. There was barely anything here also worth talking about, at least for me personally. We have a Marvel Legends Malice, but again, they're doing that weird crossover thing with Magic the Gathering. I don't know if it was like a contractual obligation or what have you, but I don't think that even that first wave did that well. There was an awful lot of discounts happening over at Amazon for it. Apparently, people are stoked for this Fantastic Four Mole Man. It's gonna come with this like little minions. Okay. Interesting. But what I will admit was a little bit of an eyebrow raise for me, being a Spider-Man fan, is a Maximum Series black suited Spider-Man. From what I can tell, the body is... I could be wrong, but the body with that rocker definitely looks like it's simply just the Maximum Spidey body again, repainted black. But again, that makes sense. If you're going for maximum, approach and quality behind the articulation, especially with the toesies there and the boot swivels and all the tooling that comes along with it, you might as well take it. Got great reviews. It even got some accolades from me with that Maximum Series Spidey. So why not take it and paint it black? So fundamentally, I'm like, okay, it's just a pre-existing one. What are you bundling it with? And admittingly, I'm seeing some of these accessories and thinking that they do look a little interesting. You have, of course, the capsule that has the black goo from Secret Wars. You have this gun right here. You are going to have, of course, this evil-looking Peter Parker that looks a little dorky, but it's compelling enough that I look at it and go, it's kind of charming. Black version of the Spidey Sense, the web accessory that's pretty similar to the shooting one from the original Maximum series, but it's got, I don't know what that panel is right there. Hold on, I'm gonna have to look up and see. Oh, I think it's a lid, because now he's holding it over here. It's the lid, sewer lid. That's curious. Okay, and I'm pretty certain someplace else, I think maybe Paternia might have some more photos, or even Toyshes might have some photos. But in the second one right here, you can see he's got a leering head. The web pieces actually look pretty neat. Not gonna lie, along with the web backpack. So not bad. And before we move on from black suited Maximum Spidey, which again, spoilers, is probably the highlight for me personally, as far as Marvel Legends, because the other stuff that I'm seeing here, hold on. Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but let me see if maybe Toyshes, because I think maybe Toyshes might have posted something on Instagram. Let me double check. Hold, please, hold. Regarding the black suit. That's mainly what I want to look at. Ah, here we go. Okay, this is perfect, actually. It's pretty much the wide shot of all the stuff included. Pre-orders August 1st. It's a little sooner than anticipated. And I gotta be honest. Full transparency, might put down a pre-order. Might. Don't know if I'll keep it. But considering that there's actually quite a bit happening with the accessories, and considering that I actually did like the body that they utilized for Maximum Spidey, especially with this dynamic web piece, the sewer lid. And here's the thing, with this piece right here, with the cone at the end, we technically already got that piece with the original Maximum Spidey, but they did coil the other end to slightly differentiate it in a way that I'm like, I could make that work a little bit with posing. And then the web piece hand pair right there with the web shooting. Yeah, I'll be honest, there's enough here that I'm like I said, I might just do a pre-order maybe through like Amazon, where again they don't charge right away, or BBTS. That way I can mold it over a little bit. Now, could they have chosen a better character for the next Maximum series entry? Absolutely. Somebody here in the comment section is saying they could have done Cap, they could have done Iron Man. A Maximum Iron Man actually probably would have been legit. But at the same time, Spider-Man always sells. Maybe the last couple of Maximum series entries like Thor and even Hulk, especially after the word of mouth for Hulk got out, where people now are reporting that their Maximum Hulks are breaking, especially around the rubberized chest piece area. It's like, yeah. This, to me, even though it looks like a solid release, it could be two things. It could be a solid release, and it could also be a sign that the Maximum series line is not pulling in the numbers that they were probably anticipating. Could be. No guarantee of that, but it could be. And I guess while I'm on Toyshiz' page, he's got actually some clearer pictures here, as opposed to the Reddit, of more of that Magic the Gathering crossover. You got this really weird-ass looking Captain America. Again, somebody in the comments said fodder. It kind of is. It kind of is. A Black Panther with the gauntlet, apparently. Yeah, the Infinity Gauntlet. In the shield. There's that Malice again. A blue Doctor Doom. And there's that whole wave. Pre-orders on my goddamn birthday. That's funny. Maximum series again. So August 1st, 1 p.m. Eastern, so 10 a.m. So I'm going to have to put in an alarm just in case. There's that Moleman and Moloyos, whatever. Yeah. Elsa Bloodstone. Somebody said this looks like Kurt. Yeah. Look at the GIF. Yeah. Yeah, I can't deny it. I think this guy's even laughing in the corner too, saying, "Come on." Is it Earth X Captain America? You goddamn know that's Kurt Angle. Oh man. I'm looking at that GIF over there. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, classic Attitude Era WWE. Come on, man. Acro Year? I don't know what the fuck this is, man. And they teased that more reveals are going to be happening on Sunday. And Marvel Legends, Hasbro, is not the only one that's actually teasing more Doomsday stuff. It's both Legends and Hot Toys have countdown clocks for something happening on Sunday, specifically the 26th, to reveal that's Doomsday related. My guess is that I think they're just waiting for more eyes to fall on that trailer, and when it does, that's probably when they're gonna be like, all right, those characters that you saw in the trailer, here are the figures for both Marvel Legends and for Hot Toys. I mean, it's absolutely no coincidence that both of those guys are gonna be showcasing their stuff literally the same day. So expect Mystique, expect a Gambit, even though there was supposed to be a Gambit for Deadpool and Wolverine, but I guess they punted it to now be labeled under Doomsday. Maybe even a Doom himself. I would not be surprised if you guys get figures for Doom. Victor Von Doom himself. And then they shamelessly just said, yeah, all of those Marvel vs. Capcom stuff, we're just going to repaint them. And we're going to mix and match. I'm sorry, but go fuck yourself. I'm sorry. Am I the only one that looks at this and says, what? You'll be day August 30th, man. May that day be a good day. Yeah, Skelly Bones, I don't know about that, but we'll see. There's some stuff going on in my personal life that makes my birthday kind of irrelevant, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, this, come on, man. What is this? Brazilian Wolverine? Jamaican Wolverine? They're repainting Gargantos. these guys, Spiral. Didn't Spiral get released like separately? Sentinel. The Sentinel actually doesn't look too bad. I'll admit that. Like I said, nothing for me. And now Masters of the Universe, I guess. And that got us into McFarlane. Yeah, all right, so we're caught up. So briefly touched on Marvel Legends there because, like I said, as I was scanning through the stuff that was being posted on Reddit, on Twitter by Paternia, on Instagram by Toyshes, the big takeaway from the Marvel Legends was that black suited Spidey. That admittedly caught my interest. I'm still holding it at arm's length, and like I said, there's a good chance that I will put down a pre-order. But like I said, I'll do it the sensible, smart way of doing it with one of the outlets that doesn't charge right away, like BBTS or Amazon. That way, I can think about it. Especially since I technically did walk away from the Maximum Series Spidey pretty positively, and there's enough compelling details about the accessories that make me go, okay, yeah, okay, I'll give it a shot. But don't get me wrong, I wholeheartedly believe that they could have chosen somebody else for the maximum entry. And a quick shout out to this display from Marvel Legends at the ACGHK display. Is this at Comic-Con or is this at a different convention? But there was this huge Marvel Legends spread, a mixture of comic, MCU, Gamerverse stuff. Note the Green Goblin there at the bottom. That was, I believe, the most recent one that was showcased. That was part of the MCU where he's not going to have like the purple stuff on him. But then at the top, you have that old clearance bin James Jonah Jameson that I actually got from Mike's Toys and Stuff at Black Friday last year for only $10. Some other recent releases like the Spider-Man, the remake of 2099, a couple of other stuff here. That's pretty neat. There's the Doc Ock, the Toby Spider-Man with that cardiac, some other Magic the Gathering stuff also pulled in there. But I just thought it was a neat display. There you go, some close-ups. So just wanted to showcase it a little bit. As well, okay, so this is Comic-Con because this is also part of the Comic-Con exclusive from Marvel Legends that is supposed to be the very memeable 60s Spider-Man, which is cute for the memes. It's a set that was an exclusive, literally born and made for the memes. Outside of those memes, though, how much of a real amount of staying power do these things have? And keep in mind that when you buy this set, you only really get one Spidey. So if you want to do this meme, you literally have to buy 3 sets. So I'm like, who's this for? That's the ultimate question. It's like, who is this for? Spiral was a retro card. I knew I saw it in store. Yeah, I remember seeing those arms. I'm like, didn't we see her before? Thank you, Bellows. What is your favorite Spider-Man figure of all time? Mine is Sentinel Peter B. Parker. Kind of a loaded question, if I'm being honest. Not a bad thing. It's just that it's going to take a while for me to mull it over. Favorite Spider-Man figure. I'm thinking. Because I'm also trying to take imports into consideration. I guess the Mafex comic version? But even then, it's got some problems. trying to think. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to revisit that question. Yeah, just chew him. That's never gonna happen. The whole letting him do Spider-Man. No. The closest you'll get is the Maximum series because that's the design for the head. This is one of the reasons for why I was pulled in to buy it. Action figure guy, just like a comment. That was also another red flag is when those DC Direct animated stuff were coming out, but they were like $25, and then some of them were kind of worthy-ish, like whenever they did Batman or Joker or even Robin. But when they got to like the more daintier figures that were, I'm sorry, I'm just calling it like it is, the female characters, because they're naturally going to be skinnier because it's the Bruce Timm animated style of a female character, they're going to be slimmed down. So it's less plastic, they come with less accessories, but then they were priced the same. And I'm like, I don't want that. Like, I'm getting less. But then if I want to build Bruce Wayne, because to this day, I still it would have been sick to be able to build Bruce Wayne, the Build-A-Figure. But like 3 of the figures in that wave, I didn't care for. But I would still have to buy them in order to build Bruce Wayne. And I tried to play the game of chicken of waiting to see if they ever popped up at Ross. And they never did. So far, I don't know if maybe going into this holiday season, they'll show up miraculously, but I doubt it. Question for you: do you think we'll see more? Do you think we'll see more people flee 1/6 scale due to prices rising and investing in other skills? Yeah, I gotta be honest, yeah, because I am one of those people, where it was becoming difficult to keep track of 1/6 scale. Um, Hot Toys is pretty much the best way I can put it is that Hot Toys is turning into the PlayStation of the 1/6 scale community or the 1/6 scale market. They've gotten complacent. What is PlayStation doing right now with PS5? They got complacent and comfortable in their high chairs, in their high thrones, after winning the PlayStation 4 generation, that they've now gone into the PlayStation 5 generation and said, oh yeah, we're going to take away your discs. Oh yeah, we're going to raise the prices of PS Plus. Oh yeah, we're going to do this, this, and that. We're going to shut down this digital front of PS3 and PS Vita, which is probably the only thing that kind of makes sense because of how long it's been, but the other two simply just do not. Or at least, have the most ire centered around them. Hot Toys is kind of doing that in the 1/6 scale community, where we're going to take Thrawn and put a helmet on him and release him as an exclusive, and you're going to like it. We're going to take this figure and simply just be a slight remold of this other thing that we got cooking up because we got the license. Why did we get that final suit swing? What was it, like concept edition or whatever edition right before Brand New Day? You're cannibalizing yourself. Oh, because we could do it. Like, I'm one of those people. And you're increasing the prices versus what they were before, but I'm barely seeing anything inside of the accessories that make me feel worth it. It's hard to keep track versus that, and then combined with the fact that I'm constantly broke, still without a job after all these years. YouTube doesn't, I wish I could do YouTube full time, but what gave me my peaks on this channel was doing reviews of figures. But now, that was when the figures were literally just $20. Say for using McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse as an example. When the reviews were popping and I was getting like 1,000 subscribers a month or every like 3 weeks, was when the figures were only $20 and I was able to freely find them at Walmart or Target and be like, this is getting reviewed this week. Got home, shot the review. Within a week turnaround time, the review was up. That's with the way that now things are distributed, with pre-orders, with the red platinum shit, with certain figures landing at Walmart even though they're barely up for pre-order. Combined with now figures never being $20 again, and now being minimum $25, on average $27, some of which are now being locked down to $30, being page punchers. And you didn't hear it from me, but outside of McFarlane, guys, whoever's in the chat right now, if you guys are still collecting Marvel Legends, brace yourselves, because there is a strong rumor that starting next year, that basic MSRP is $30 fucking dollars. Basic. So we're not talking about these like deluxe editions. We're not talking about the Magic the Gathering. No, we're talking about standard figure releases. The ones that are costing $25 right now, they're going to be $30. And we're not just talking about Marvel Legends. It's Hasbro, meaning Black Series, G.I. Joe Classified, Marvel Legends. Those original, just standard $25, it's now going to be $30. There's a strong rumor going around internally. It's going to be $30. 2027. There are not enough figures with Bruce's head without a mask. Companies are starting to do it more like InArt and LPZZ. Winter, what did you just say right now? Companies like InArt and LPZZ import. Anyone here in the States, like it's like, oh, that's tooling costs, which means if we're throwing in a Bruce Wayne head, now I have to do my Todd voice. Well, if we kind of throw it into the figure, then that means it's gonna have to be a deluxe edition, because that extra head means that and to play complete devil's advocate, judging from what I've heard, things being said by people who know people over there at LPZZ and even at McFarlane, it is a WBDC thing. If McFarlane had his way, or even LPZZ had their, or UPF had their way, there would be like, oh, let's pack this in to give it the best value proposition possible and keep the price the same. But they're like, but then it's the reason for why that Joaquin Phoenix Joker set is $250. As soon as I saw that, like I said, I dealt the blame down the middle 50-50, or more so 60-40. 60% of the blame, I threw it at WB, because I'm like, you guys are doing that. There's no way. Why couldn't this get just a standard release? Just the Joaquin Phoenix Joker by itself. Why does it have to be this whole set with a bunch of tchotchkes and knickknacks that nobody gives a shit about? Because it was WB. They said this is how it has to be. And when I saw the pattern of companies like InArt, who had to do a 4-pack of the realistic Joaquin Phoenix Joker with 4 figures, a couple of which people didn't care about, and sell it at like, what, $1,200-$1,300? I was like, yeah, it's WB, it's DC. Assholes. But notice I said 60 to 65% of the blame I threw to WB. The other 35 to 40% though, gotta throw it over to McFarlane or InArt, because at the end of the day, they reached out their hand and shook to make the deal. They made that choice. Gotta take it in the chin for making that choice, because their other choice could have been to just say, nah, we ain't doing that. You know how bad that's gonna look on us? We're just not gonna do it. And they still made that choice. So that's why I'm like, I'm not gonna absolve McFarlane or InArt out of those deals 100%. That's why I'm still splitting the blame, but most of it does go to WB and DC. So I've become a bit numb to prices. Been collecting Tamashii and Mafex. And for a little while, Winter, that's how I was too. But then when the quality started to get upticked by LPCZ and InArt. I'm looking at Mayfix and Figure Arts as far as imports going. Okay, guys, what are you guys doing? Because at Comic Con, I don't think I have photos, but at Comic Con there was a display of the Figure Arts Brand New Day Spidey and Hulk. Hulk doesn't look all that terrible, but Spider-Man, I guess you could say officially doesn't look that terrible because I have that figure. It's the final suit, just with a different coat of paint to mitigate the saturation of the color to match that of Brand New Day. But I recognized the body proportions, and I was like, it's the same figure, which means, and I believe pre-orders were already up, right? I haven't pre-ordered because I was like, I already have that. Why? Eventually, Hasbro will price too many people out, and the market for their figures will collapse. People probably not at 30, but I can't imagine paying 40 for a basic Legend. Yeah, there are some people who are not ruling out the possibility that there might be like a bubble about to burst. Just like with the AI stuff, just like with the gaming industry is pretty much happening right now. With studio shutting down, with services. Basically, let me put it to you guys this way. When it comes to like games, for example, within the next... Actually, you know what? For the rest of the year, the only 2 games that I actually do have pre-ordered, and even then, again, it's through Amazon because I knew they weren't going to charge right away, are Marvel Tokon, which comes out next month, just a week before my birthday, so it might be like a little birthday present on myself, and Wolverine, PS5 Wolverine. No, I am not counting GTA 6 because I'm not going to lie, after that whole no disc thing, and the Ultimate Edition prices and the lack of gameplay, I'm like, show me a gameplay, otherwise, no. I have no pre-orders right now for GTA 6, and I don't feel motivated to do so. And that sentiment kind of echoes with action figures too. Like, there's some things that you would think I would have pre-ordered by now, and I'm like, no. And, with games, I'm like, until those 2 games come out, I'm looking at backlog stuff. I'm looking at the games I haven't played and haven't even opened. I'm like, I'm going to that sooner than later. Sooner than getting the new stuff. And then when it comes to action figures, you know what I've been feeling a little nostalgic for is some of the 2007 Transformers movie stuff. A little while ago, I was going down a little bit of a rabbit hole watching 2007 Transformer movie toy figure reviews from back in the day. From JT Mitchell, Decompose, Night Slash 2020, Optibotimus, Peol, Bolt Matrix, and all those. And it's one of the it's that rabbit hole of videos that I was watching and also serving as a form of a motivation for me to start paring down the reviews and be like, hey, just get into the figure, start it from the beginning, start filming box B-roll, because I used to shoot like box B-roll, and I'm like, yeah, I got overly confident in that style of filming, and now with, like I said, people watching technically a little bit less because of whether or not you want to throw that blame over to what they call the TikTok brain rot or YouTube Shorts brain rot. The fact of the matter is that the numbers, the analytics show, whenever I go to my analytics and I pull up what my audience is watching, you guys might be a very vocal minority in the chat, but you are a minority nonetheless, because every time I pull up analytics for my channel and I go over to the section that shows, what your audience is watching, the majority of the videos are not videos, they're shorts, vertical shorts. There's literally, when I click on all, and it shows you like 30 results. Out of those 30, only 3, maybe 4 are actual long form videos. The remaining 26 are shorts. People are just watching shorts. And if they're watching long form, technically long form videos, it's the stuff that's only about 15 to 20 minutes. max. And that's why I'm like, all right, the pendulum has swung, and basically, I'm making content as if I'm already at 100,000 subscribers for the past year and a half. And the past month or so, I came to the realization that I'm like, I guess I can't do that anymore. You know, people are now much more active. They're not stuck inside like in COVID when the boom was happening and McFarlane just got the license and those figures were only $20. It was the perfect storm. But the clouds are gone. And as a content creator, I'm kind of doing that a little bit. Where I'm like, all right, prices for the figures are going up. The figures aren't exactly evolving in quality. Technically, some of them are not devolving in quality, but that's only because I know since I already have the figure, you just repainted it. What do I really want to do as a content creator? Do I want to pivot towards doing nostalgic reviews of some of the figures I already own that could use like a re-review, like the 2007 movie toy Transformer movie figures from back in the day? Which, like I said, every so often I find the itch to do so. Do I want to do video game essays? One of which is actually on the cusp of being finished, of Lego Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight. Ray Paz, welcome to the stream. You're a big channel, though. Thank you. Like, I'm not... 26,000 subscribers is nothing to scoff at. Don't get me wrong. I'm not looking at that saying, oh, that's... when I say I'm small relatively. Speaking in relative terms. Is 26,000 still a big number? Yeah, I don't take it for granted. It's definitely a big number. That's why I'm like, I don't want to abandon this. I'm just trying to like, I'm just having, like I said, a internal conflict of like, where do I want to go from here? Because I don't want to just like stop content. You know, I don't want to pull a girlfriend reviews and just abandon the Short should have been a separate app. Yeah. Just for information, dude, I told Mandy someone actually knew who we were and recognized the name. Her mind is blown, and so is mine. Recognize your name or recognize my name? When Mattel comes in, I'm going to hope there will be a big boom. They're not evolving. I'm shocked Mattel changed up their Motu Buck. Didn't they like release a variant recently where they like overhauled the face? Speaking of Motu, the movie's on Prime now. I gotta watch it. Yeah, and Ray Pass. So that's where... That's another thing that's put me into perspective in the last month or so, is that I made that soft announcement about how the channel's going to be a bit more focused on the import stuff, because that was where the quality was moving. And to this day, I still think the quality is moving. You know, UPF, InArt, all that stuff. Soon as I did that, the amount of times that I would gain subscribers per month tragically dipped. Viewership dropped whenever I drop a review for UPF or LPZ. UPF/LPZZ or InArt. Views aren't great. Now, the outlier was actually the most recent one with the InArt Arkham Batman. But I think the outlier for that was with the very, very lucky break of including the battle damage. Because right now, I think the battle damage is still being sought after. Because that one, I think, just barely is starting to get shipped out, or is about to get shipped out for people who put down pre-orders in like the next month or so. Whereas the InArt Standard Edition for Arkham Origins Batman, not only have those figures already been out for a while now, but you then have the next crux that has bit me in the ass, which is that unfortunately, I don't know what the circumstances are. I don't know what the details are, but my channel, going back to what Ray Paz you've been saying, you are a big channel though. That's why I consider it I'm small in relative terms, because if I was a big channel, and I'm trying to say this without sounding like I'm bitching and complaining, but I'm just pulling out the facts. If I truly was big in that relative sense, maybe I would be getting some of these review units for the InArt 112 figures and some of these UPF figures, along with the other reviews you guys have been seeing on the channel. But by the time I get my unit shipped in from either Toys Metaverse or Bombasby or whatever, those reviews have been out for like months. So what happens to my video? I believe both of my UPF, Dark Knights, Metal, Red Death, and Batman Who Laughs have not cracked 1,000 at all. Let me double check. Yep, Red Death is still at 876. Getting kind of close, I guess. And the Batman Who Laughs is at 938. Not even 1,000, man. And whenever I would take those like clips of the stream talking about UPF and splice them out, those videos don't do crazy, which is what motivated me to create the clips channel. If you guys don't know, I actually have a clips channel now. Soft-launched it. Let me see if actually I could link it in the chat in case you guys want to drop a sub, because there's a good chance I'm probably going to take some segments out of this stream and put it up on there. Where are you? There we go. I even put up my review of the Odyssey. If you guys don't know, I actually did see the Odyssey. Yeah, I loved it. I was going to say really, really liked it, but you know what? The more I think about it, the more I love it. It's still in the 8 out of 10 category, but it's kind of raising a little bit. But let me see. There's the link for the clip channel if you guys want to check it out. Basically, from now on, the segments out of this stream will be there in due time. And what the other thing that also helped me motivate create this channel is the collaboration function, because now you can that collaboration feature that YouTube implemented is actually kind of neat, because now I can post my clips on this of the stream on this clips channel, but then tag my main channel, and anybody who subscribed to my main channel will still have the clips show up on their feed, but technically it's not with this channel. It's being hosted, I guess you could say, by the clips channel. So views will then be funneled to this channel here. If you guys want to subscribe, you could do so, but if not, at least there will be some viewership, some eyes. If in the future it qualifies for monetization, that'll be neat. But honestly, to me, it's more of an organization thing where I can keep all the clip stuff over here, and then my main channel looks a little cleaner by circumstance. So yeah, I just dropped that in the chat. If you guys want to check that out, you guys sub, thank you so much. There you go. Went up to 29. Neat. I hyped up your InArt battle. Yeah, and I also keep forgetting that you could do that. You can hype up stuff. So that's also another helpful tool. I appreciate. That someone recognized the shill's name. Nice. So, yeah, that's something that I kind of hinted at the beginning of the stream, is that, to be brutally honest, it wasn't a coincidence or an accident that there was a lot of time passing between when this InArt Arkham Origins Batman video went up and my last full-length video went up, which was the DB Toys third-party Andrew Spider-Man figure went up. It's because I was trying to get the Arkham Origins Batman done, figure review done, but also I wasn't rushing through it because I knew that after that, don't have anything really lined up outside of the video essay for Lego Batman. But in terms of figure reviews, I was just kind of like zoning out, metaphorically speaking, where I was like, I don't want to cover anything or I don't want to review anything unless it's something that's brand spanking new, which is why when some photos started to show up on Reddit of the Page Puncher, the 89 Batman and the 89 Two-Face and the Alex Ross Batman, I started to kind of peruse some Walmarts to see if I had some luck, but so far none. Now, again, 89 Batman, 89 Two-Face is technically on its way. Let me check to see if there's movement. Nope, no movement yet. And then technically BBTS sent me an email, was it yesterday or Wednesday, saying that they're about to get the two Batman Page Punchers. So I might be seizing the hunting since they're already, all three are virtually on their way, and I'll have stuff to talk about on the channel. But in terms of anything to where I'm like, oh, keeping track of like, oh, that Beast Kingdom that just dropped, or oh, that figure arts, it's admittedly it's becoming a bit much that I'm getting a little burnt out. And what is, like I said, sort of causing a bit of that burnout is the financial struggle of like, hey, to get these figures, nobody's sending them to me for free because I'm not that big enough. Like I said, InArt's not sending me. They sent the Battle Damage, which I'm grateful for, but I'm not gonna mince words. When I got sent that Battle Damage, it was sent after the standard edition already got sent out to a bunch of other influencers. The email responses that I would always get when they happened would always happen like after the fact. They'll be like, oh, let me see if we have any. It's like, oh, I'm getting the scraps basically. Because by the time I get a response saying, I think we might have a unit to send you, Anthony Customs, Nostalgia Unbox, they already have their review up. UPF, they already got their Arkham Knight Batman up. They already got it up. I don't got anything. And that's why, like, over time, I'm just like, am I done? Because it gets demoralizing. Like, it makes me go like, all right, I'm spending more money than the channel's actually kicking me back with. Now, I would be, telling a different story right now if I did have a job to fall back on, even a part-time one. Because then I'll be like, all right, I got the money to look at what Mayfix pre-order just went. Mayfix just put up some pre-orders for that Carnage. That Carnage looks kind of neat. If I had a job right now and I had the money put off to the side, I would have been like, I'll put down the pre-order for Carnage. Yeah. So I can cover it on the channel. Spider-Man related. Looks kind of neat. But right now, I'm like, no, I can't do that. And that caused the domino effect, six scale shells. To answer your question from earlier, or to add more to your question from earlier, that was one of the domino effects that made me go, okay, out of all the scales that I collect, that one's sixth. Done. And I'm like selling the majority. I think, I don't know how you guys are going to react, but literally, was it yesterday or Wednesday? No, I think it was Wednesday. I dropped off the black suit Tobey Maguire Spider-Man Hot Toys figure at UPS because I sold it. It's gone. And then last week I sold the No Way Home Tobey. I think I literally have 3 or 4 Hot Toys figures left in my collection total. 3 or 4, or maybe 2 and 3, and then one of them is technically the InArt Pattinson Batman with the rooted hair, and I'm trying to keep that in the collection because of how rare it is, but storage is saying, hey, pay me. Phone bill is saying, hey, pay me. Yeah, so You sound either depressed or need a vodka. Maybe both, right? Like I said, that's the reason for why there was that gap between the DB Toys Spider-Man video and the Arkham Origins. Is that technically I could have gotten that Arkham Origins review out sooner, but yeah, it was starting to hit me where I was taking my time with it. As I kind of mentioned once earlier in the stream today, something's happening in my personal life that is having me feel unwell. It's funny because it's having me feel unwell physically, but the actual thing that happened in my life is technically uh, an emotional thing. So it's just manifesting, you could say. Wanzer review, welcome to the stream. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Like, let me ask you guys this. Like, you know you're going through something where something you eat something that you know for a fact on a technical level is delicious, it's good, came out great, and yet you feel like you're just like, yeah, but it's gone now. Like, you know for a fact this could have tasted even better if it wasn't for this emotional thing that's happening. Yeah. That's wild. You're bigger than some of the other channels I've watched. Yeah, I mean, and there's some that make, like I used an example earlier, Anthony's Customs. Anthony's Customs totally makes sense that he gets the stuff sent. Like, look at his, his channel has been around for a while. He's one of the OGs. He's been, whether you like him or dislike him in terms of his takes, in terms of his hustle, in terms of the content, the amount of content that he puts out, never stopping, and the sizing of his channel. And I think it's like, what, 600,000 subscribers now, 700,000, something like that. Totally makes sense, 100%. But like you said, Ray Paz, ever so often there's the outlier where, oh, there was actually a perfect example. This dude that was on, there was a guy who was on a stream who's usually like a co-host, a guest that appears on this stream that I watch once or twice a week. And at the end, he's like, oh yeah, and InArt sent me this, and it was the Batman Who Laughs from InArt. And I'm like, this guy doesn't do reviews, does he? Or have I just never heard of him? And I've just been under a rock. I go into his socials or whatever. His YouTube channel's got like 600 subscribers. There's no reviews. There's a couple of live streams, but there's no reviews. And then I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's like an Instagram thing or a TikTok thing. I don't think he has a TikTok. He does have an Instagram, and he technically does have some reels that have popped off, but they're like the quick, montage-y sort of reels. And I'm like it's tough to like look at that and go, it's one of the reasons for why I'm making the video shorter, because I'm like, why am I going through all this trouble of the editing and the fancy shots? But I know that I'm just doing this to myself, because I know that there's the old saying, comparison is the thief of joy. And the past couple of weeks, I've been trying to do that by just trying my best to not watch these other videos to say, oh, why they get this stuff first. I've been trying to minimize, and to be honest, I've been trying to like focus my attention on something else that is not really, is still something that I love, but it's not related to YouTube video creation. And one of those things is writing. I've actually been writing a script ever since Monday. Literally just started, but I'm on page 26, 27, or 28. So I'm about to enter Act 2, actually. But yeah, I'm just trying to focus on just that writing and be like, hey, just focus on this writing. Because if I stop, I'm going to open up YouTube and I'm going to see something that makes me go, oh, why didn't I get that figure? Like, so, yeah. And it'll also take my mind away from the personal thing that I mentioned. That, like I said, I'm going to keep personal, but that personal thing that's been hurting every day. I've been turning to screenwriting to not think about that. Sometimes I feel like some of these guys are undercover marketing people. I don't know. You gotta mentally just say fuck it and keep your grind up. Yeah. Thank you, Juan's review. Thank you. Bro, sometimes going through the motions gets you through shit. Yeah, Ray Pass. I don't know why I pronounced it vodka. I knew you were trying to abbreviate vacay, but I think it's because you didn't put the Y at the end. But I knew you meant vacation. I knew. That's why I said both. I'm rooting for some big opportunities to come up for you, man. Like it's gotta happen sometime soon. Something good, and that's why I didn't really feel almost any kind of FOMO not going to any of these events. Like the InArt event that's happening in about an hour and a half. I'll just refresh my feeds to see when the photos start dumping, and I'll be like, all right, is there anything here worth talking about? Because real quick before I close out the stream, they did have like a little section at their booth on the floor for InArt. But I gotta be honest, the 112 stuff, I'm hoping there's gonna be more at the offside, because what was on the inside of the actual main hall, the Terminator actually looks kind of neat. Although the Terminator 1 version on the left, a little sus on the head sculpt. Doesn't look all that great. Realistic, but not. It looks like a dude that just happens to have the same chin as Arnold. It doesn't really look like Arnold. The battle damage one on the right passes a little bit more because of the battle damage. But the actual texture for the shirt, that looks legitimately like a shirt. But I can tell it's plastic because of the way it's cut right here. And some other stuff. I have no idea what this is. Some more Wukong stuff. But that was it. And then in this white shot, you can see that they still have that Bruce Lee. It looks kind of neat. And then whatever this is in the middle. But otherwise, I was like, okay, so hopefully we're going to be seeing some cool stuff pop up out of that offsite event at the hotel. Hopefully. Always gotta hit a low before hitting a high, right? So I believe something good's coming. Hopefully. Like I said, maybe this is my time to finally do something that I feel is personally really, really awkward, but I guess I've been hearing other people say that, hey, it sounds awkward on paper, but just do it, which is to hit up old classmates from my time at film school and be like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but we had this class. Are you still working in the industry? And if so, do you have jobs, open jobs for me to try out for? Some people on Reddit and YouTube said that, hey, they did that. They felt bad about cold calling, but then the person responded saying, oh, yeah, I remember you. Let's try this out. And they were like, oh, shit. So, might have to do that. Where your buddies, you may need a boys' night out. Married with their girls. Moved away, one of which is actually in San Diego. And then the other one has a full-time job and is constantly busy. And I don't blame them. You know, that's life. But I just wish I was as busy. Which is what I'm trying to wheel myself a little bit into by like saying, hey, when I'm not editing, I'm working on that script. So I'm trying to do that. That's why if I'm not editing a video, work on that script. Because it always has work to be done on it. And if you're not working on that script or editing, there's actually a couple books on screenwriting that I've been wanting to read. So, yeah. And then finally, like I said, start hitting some of these people up. Okay. real quick, let's close out with a bit of a big one that at first wasn't worthy enough to be a whole stream about, but with the Comic-Con stuff, I figured that that's a good way to kind of compartmentalize it all. Last week, Pattinson Batman finally dropped. Officially, as far as pre-orders from UPF. Because, as I mentioned before, as soon as you see this carousel of photos with this great background, this gradient background by LPZZ Official on Instagram, pre-orders are legit. Go get them. And yes, I did in fact pre-order. So my pre-order's locked down. I actually pre-ordered, I think within 15 minutes of this set of photos going up, which means, God forbid, I should be within that first batch. So as soon as Toys Metaverse gets their first batch, I should be in there. But here's the wide angle of everything that comes included. It looks like they're doing that same approach to the line launcher that comes out of the gauntlet. 2 versions of the flare, a deployed one and then a closed one. The flashlight, I don't know what that is right there. The laptop, thumb drive. Lots of hands. 3 versions of the chest battering, kind of like a neutral one directly lifted from the chest, a slightly collapsed one, and then a slightly bent one, or a much more bent one in the opposite direction. The sticky bomb gun, the cuffs, the line with the grapple so you can attach it to this. Oh, I'm sorry, attach it to the line launcher. The diorama base with the rafters, and then of course empty cowl and the unmasked Pattinson head sculpt, which I gotta be honest, I do think looks a little better. Not perfect, but a little better than my initial thoughts when it was shown at the event, that last event that they were part of, the Shenzhou, whatever it was called, the Chinese event from a couple of weeks ago. You guys know that I was actually kind of criticizing the head sculpt. I actually do think it looks a little better here in these official photos. Maybe it could be the lighting that might be helping out, but it does look slightly better. And hopefully once we have it in hand, it can only get better from there, hopefully. Once you put that cowl on, this is looking legit. Yeah. Looking pretty nice. Actually, I don't know why Reddit does this, but it blurs the photos. Let me see if maybe Toys Metaverse directly has some better photos. Because I don't know what it is. They always blur it up. Yeah, see, Toys Metaverse is a little better. Look at that. I do think it looks rather nice. And the cape, I gotta be honest, the cape almost looks like a shrunken down version of the Hot Toys cape. Or even the in-art. The wiring, the way it's stitched, and a little bit of griminess there at the bottom. I dig it. Look at that. Yeah, this looks nice. In-art, we're waiting on you, man. We're waiting on you guys. I mean, look at this shot. The chin definitely looks a little better than that prototype that was shown at the event. Like I said, maybe a little light on the griminess of the gray here around the chest and the upper thigh area, but only by a fraction. And then maybe the wrist joints do look a little too bulbous, that they look like they're just kind of floating there. Granted, the upside to that would be that they're going to have really good movement in terms of the articulation, but it does create quite a bit of the illusion kind of breaking a little bit here. Kind of wish that they went with a much more flush joint. But yeah, outside of that, they even did this. I don't know why they did this, where they popped off his head and put the empty cowl, probably to make it look like it's like... Here's the thing. With this shot, it would have made sense if you maybe like posed him in like a T-pose like this to make it look like the suit is empty. Like, but you posed them in like a bit of a filled in sort of stance, like there's a human body in there, but then you put that head on. So that was strange. Yeah. I'm sold. I don't know what else I can really say, but I'm sold. And the weathering, yeah. I wonder if they will make a Zoe Kravitz Catwoman. She look great in that costume. I don't know. It's starting to feel like a one-off, if I'm being honest. Okay, so I hate to make that bit feel a little bit on the rush side, guys, but it is that time. I'm hungry, I'm starting to lose my voice, and we have been going for quite a while, a little over 2.5 hours, covering as much as I could out of SDCC, but not everything, because there were a couple of things from Mafex, from Skelly Bones. I think you mentioned Beast Kingdom did some weird shit. I think there were a couple of Ace Age figures I may have missed. Like I said, if there's enough shown tonight at that InArt event, then I'm going to take the stuff that's shown at the InArt offsite event tonight, pair it with the stuff that I missed from Mafex and Figure Arts and Beast Kingdom and whatever other company I may have missed from San Diego Comic-Con, along with maybe even some clearer photos and videos that get dumped as the weekend progresses, bundle it all together, and we will hopefully do a stream. If all that stuff is worthy of being talked about, I will do a stream Thursday, not Friday, because Friday next week I have so far the plan, the intent to go see Spider-Man Brand New Day. And so around this time I should be leaving, or I'll probably be having to leave like around 2:30, around the time that I go live. So that's why I was like, all right, if a stream happens next week, it'll probably be Thursday as opposed to Friday. And that's when we'll cover tonight's InArt stuff, anything else that I may have missed from SDCC, and what have you. And keep you guys an update as far as what content's coming, if hopefully 89 Two-Face shows up, if I find anything, or if any other choices have been made regarding the channel. Because like I said, I'm in this weird state where I'm trying to figure out what to do with the channel, what kind of content creator do I want to be, and what I want to do going forward. Because like I said, it's the way things were on this channel back in 2021, 2022, it's just not working anymore. So I have a Pattinson cosplay that's close to the film version. I noticed that my Fawnjoy figure has non-canonical boots. Yeah, I remember the boots, like they had like that really dark orange thing, right? Or was that Mesco? Like I said, there's so many Pattinsons, and I'm gonna have to do another comparison when the UPF drops. God damn it. My advice, just keep yourself busy and focused on yourself. Hope you get yourself mentally, emotionally back on track. Man, I hope so too, Ray Pass. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, and Ray Pass, what you said earlier, like, yeah, I was bitching and complaining as far as our communication and why it is that I'm not considered to get review units or whatever, but as far as our products are concerned, they're still top quality. They're great. So, six scale shells. Sorry, I mispronounced it. Yeah, no problem, man. Just experiment with sticks and what you enjoy. Try not to stress much about it. Well, be by your side while you figure everything out. Yeah, thank you, man. So, anyways, guys, gotta dip. Like I said, I'm hungry. I gotta go get myself something to eat. I think my mom made nopales because we are trying to stay away from the lettuce. Well, I'm not really trying that hard because no need to worry about something that you weren't really eating that much in the first place. But anyways, just Choom, Skelly Bones, 6 scale shills, Ray Paz. Who else was in here? Wanzer review, Brian's new dishwasher, Velos of the Deep. CM Bronk was in here earlier, I believe. Winter Soldier Project. Who else was here? Action Figure Guy. The chat might cut off someone who showed up a little. And I know we had quite a few brand new names. I'm trying to see if Tony Kiat, Silverstone Figures. And I know that there were a handful of other people that I've never seen your name before, but if you guys were Illusion Entity. Who else was here? I'm trying to get all of you guys. I'm actually trying to acknowledge the chat. Unlike some other. Who else? Trying not to forget anybody. I think that was everybody, right? I know I'm forgetting someone. I'm definitely forgetting someone, but it's gonna take a while for me to peruse through the whole chat to see who it was. So if by some chance I missed you guys, so sorry. Don't stress. But anybody else who I missed, and any lurkers that watched the stream, or any of you who are catching it on the VOD on replay, appreciate you for making it all the way to the very end. And like I said, hopefully Thursday there will be another stream where I'll cover the missed in-art stuff, anything else that pops out of SDCC that's worth talking about, and everything in between. If there's enough there to warrant a stream, it'll be on Thursday for sure, because that Friday, my intent is to check out Spider-Man Brand New Day and hopefully bring you guys a review of some kind out of the theater reaction. We'll see how that comes about, but appreciate you guys for watching nonetheless. And until next time, guys, stay humble, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Where is that goddamn... Here we go. See you guys later.